Be me, Evelyn, 32, married to David for 4 years. For the first 2 years, things were actually good, normal even. We had sex regularly, laughed together, took weekend trips. I wasn't some cold, calculating wife. I loved him. David was attentive, thoughtful, maybe a little too eager to please, but I genuinely liked that about him. I remember one Saturday morning early in our marriage, I was making pancakes in one of his t-shirts, dancing to music. He came up behind me, wrapped his arms around my waist, kissed my neck. I turned around and we ended up having sex right there against the kitchen counter, pancakes forgotten. We laughed about it after, ate burnt pancakes in bed. That was us. Easy. Natural, connected. Then Rachel got divorced. Rachel was my college roommate. Her divorce was brutal. 18 months of fighting over everything. She started spending more time at our place, venting about how her ex took advantage of her emotional labor, how she gave and got nothing back. She invited me to a book club. These women talked about marriage like it was a battlefield, discussed emotional labor like tracking billable hours, analyzed their husbands for signs of weaponized incompetence. They passed around books like The Dance of Anger and Why Does He Do That? One night, Rachel pulled me aside in the host's renovated loft. Can I be honest with you? You're too available for David. Men don't value what they have constant access to. You need to make him work for it. I must have looked confused because she continued, Think about it. Does he appreciate all the sex you give him, or does he just expect it? You're not a sex dispenser, Ev. Make him earn it. Did he do the dishes without being asked? Maybe. Did he plan a real date? Maybe then. She squeezed my hand. It's not manipulation. It's boundaries. It's refusing to be a doormat wife. The way she said it, doormat wife, made something tighten in my chest. I thought of my mom, who'd been available to my dad for 30 years, and he'd cheated anyway. Maybe Rachel was right. I started testing it. The first time was subtle. David initiated on a Tuesday, kissing my neck while I scrolled Instagram. I said I was tired. He looked disappointed, but didn't push. A week later, he'd been extra helpful, cleaned the kitchen, bought my favorite wine. I rewarded him that night, enthusiastic and engaged. The next morning, he was practically glowing. I saw the pattern. He tried harder when I withheld, got complacent when I gave in. Over the next few months, I refined the system. If David didn't do enough around the house, I'd be too stressed for intimacy. If he spent too much time with Jake and the guys, I'd be not in the mood for days. I told myself I was setting healthy boundaries, refusing patriarchal expectations. One evening, I was getting ready for bed, standing at the bathroom sink in just my underwear and a tank top, taking off my makeup. David came in to brush his teeth, and I caught him looking at me in the mirror. His eyes had that look, interested, hopeful. He moved closer, touched my waist gently. "You're beautiful," he said softly. I stepped away, irritated. "Seriously? Can you not control yourself for 5 minutes? I'm just existing in my own home, David. This is my body. I'm not walking around in my underwear as an invitation." I just thought, what? That because I'm not fully dressed, I'm asking for it? I'm tired, I'm trying to get ready for bed, and you're acting like some animal who can't see his own wife without making it sexual. He held up his hands. "Sorry. I didn't mean to. It's fine. Just, not everything is about sex." He left the bathroom. I felt justified, righteous. He needed to understand I wasn't some object for his pleasure. The book club would have been proud. But I also noticed he didn't try again for over a week after that. Another time, we were on the couch watching TV. I was in shorts and a t-shirt, legs tucked under me. David's hand rested on my thigh, casual, affectionate. Then his thumb started moving in small circles. I knew what that meant, what it was leading to. I picked up his hand and moved it away. Can we just watch the show? I thought we were just being close. You weren't just being close. I know what you were doing. Sorry, He pulled his hand back entirely, put it in his lap. I didn't realize I couldn't touch my own wife. You can touch me. Just not like that. Not every touch has to be sexual, David. It wasn't sexual. It was affectionate. There's a difference. Well, it was making me uncomfortable. He was quiet for a long moment, then, okay. He shifted away slightly on the couch. We finished the episode in silence, a new distance between us that hadn't been there before. I told Rachel about it at book club. She nodded approvingly. Good for you. You're teaching him consent. He needs to understand your body isn't his property. The other women agreed. One said, my husband used to do the same thing, act like every touch was foreplay. I had to train him to understand that no means no, that I'm not always on for him. I felt validated, empowered, like I was taking control of my own autonomy. The book club reinforced it constantly. The moment you feel obligated to have sex, you've lost your autonomy. Men need to understand no means no, even in marriage. I nodded along, feeling righteous. My Instagram feed became constant validation. Feminist therapists talking about consent, meme accounts posting your body, your choice, always. David started trying harder, planned elaborate dates, came home with flowers, suggested getaways, and when he'd earned enough points, I'd let him in. The gratitude in his eyes felt like power, but I noticed he stopped touching me casually. No more hand on my thigh during movies. No more coming up behind me in the kitchen. No more spontaneous affection. He'd ask before initiating anything, is it okay if I kiss you? Can I hold your hand? And even then, there was a hesitation that hadn't been there before. I told myself this was healthy, this was respect, this was him finally understanding boundaries. Then came the Friday that changed everything. David had been trying all week, cooked dinner 3 times, suggested we visit that farmer's market I'd mentioned. By Friday night, I could feel his expectation hovering. We were in bed. I was scrolling Instagram, some influencer couple on a beach. David shifted closer, kissed my shoulder gently. Not demanding, not aggressive, just tender. I felt that familiar flash of annoyance. He was being needy again. I'm not really in the mood to perform for you tonight, I said, not looking up. He went completely still. Perform? You know what I mean. I'm tired. Usually he'd sigh, maybe ask what was wrong. This time, nothing. Just silence. Then, okay. His voice was flat, empty. He rolled over, facing the wall. No guilt trip, no questions, just acceptance. Within minutes, his breathing had evened out into sleep. I lay there feeling strangely unsettled, like I'd won the interaction, but lost something I couldn't name. I told myself I was being paranoid, that this was what healthy boundaries looked like, but somewhere deep down, a small voice whispered, that didn't feel like respect. That felt like indifference. I didn't know it then, but that was the last time David would ever ask. The next morning, David was normal, made coffee, kissed my forehead before work. But the kiss was different, automatic, mechanical. Over the next week, I noticed, he stopped initiating. Completely. No hopeful touches, no suggestive comments, no late-night attempts. He was pleasant, polite, but the desire was just gone. At first, I was relieved. Finally, no pressure. I texted Rachel. I think he finally gets it, she replied. Or he's punishing you with silence. Classic manipulation. But it didn't feel like punishment. He wasn't cold. He was just elsewhere. The gym became his religion. David started going 5 days a week, sometimes twice a day. He bought new workout clothes, researched protein supplements. His body changed, leaner, more defined. I noticed other women noticing at the grocery store. Trying to impress someone? I asked one night. He smiled. Just taking care of myself. Friend hangouts increased. Poker nights every Thursday. Weekend hikes. Helping his co-worker renovate a basement. He'd ask if I minded, polite, and when I said no, he'd leave without the usual guilty hesitation. He stopped inviting me to join. The garage became his sanctuary. He set up a woodworking area, spent hours building shelves, a coffee table, intricate boxes. I'd check on him. He'd show me his progress with genuine enthusiasm, but it was about the project, not sharing time with me. The small intimacies disappeared. He stopped complimenting me. Used to say I looked beautiful, noticed new clothes. Now, nothing. I dressed up for dinner with my parents in a new dress. "Ready?" he asked, grabbing his keys. Not, "You look amazing," just, "Ready." I started testing, trying to trigger a reaction. Wore his favorite lingerie under my robe one morning. He barely glanced up. "I'm running late," he said, grabbing his gym bag. Suggested sex one night, first time in weeks. He looked surprised. "Really?" "Yeah, why not? I'm pretty tired." "Maybe this weekend?" He rolled over and went to sleep. I stared at the ceiling. "Maybe this weekend." That was my line. When did he start using it? The passive aggression leaked out. "Nice of you to join me for dinner instead of hiding in the garage." He'd just nod. "Yeah, that bookshelf project is coming together nicely." Rachel said, "He's checking out." "You need couples therapy." I suggested it. David looked up from his plate. "If you think it would help, sure." Not eager, not resistant, just accommodating in the most distant way possible. "You don't sound very invested in saving our marriage." "Evelyn." He set down his fork. "I'm agreeing to therapy." "What else do you want?" "I want you to care." "I do care, but I'm not going to beg you to fix problems you don't think we have." That night, I scrolled Instagram in bed, alone, because David was reading in the living room. Every post felt like an accusation. Couples holding hands, engagement announcements. I clicked on David's profile. His recent photos, him and the guys hiking, grinning, him in the gym, him holding up a finished wooden box. Not a single photo of us. Not since our anniversary 8 months ago. When had we become people who existed separately? "David?" I whispered when he came to bed. "Yeah? Do you still love me?" Silence. Long enough that my heart started pounding. Then, "Of course I do." But his voice was distant, factual, like confirming the sky is blue. He rolled over. Within minutes, he was asleep. I finally understood. I hadn't just trained David to respect my boundaries. I'd trained him to stop wanting to cross them at all. Jake's wedding was on a Saturday in September, outdoor ceremony at a vineyard. I'd bought a navy dress specifically for it. "You look nice," David said while knotting his tie. Nice. The word landed like a pebble. The ceremony was beautiful. I watched Jake kiss Sarah, saw the way he looked at her like she was the only person in the world, and felt something twist in my chest. At the reception, David transformed. Laughing with the groomsmen, telling stories, completely alive, with everyone except me. He'd check in occasionally. "You doing okay?" But it felt obligatory. The best man speech started with funny stories, then Jake's tone shifted. David taught me something important about marriage this year. I called him at 2 a.m. last winter when Sarah and I were struggling. I asked him how he made it work. He said, "You keep showing up even when it's hard. You keep trying even when you're tired, because the alternative is giving up on someone you love." My stomach clenched. Sarah and I, we prioritized each other, made time, made effort, made each other feel wanted, even during the hard stuff. That mutual desire, that mutual effort, that's what saved us. He raised his glass. To Sarah, for wanting me as much as I want her, for making me feel like trying matters. Here's to marriages where both people show up. The room erupted in applause. I felt sick. The phrasing, making him feel like trying matters, felt surgical. David clinked his glass, face unreadable. Later I escaped to the bar. Jake appeared beside me. Having fun? Beautiful wedding. Thanks. He studied me. You and David doing okay? Every muscle tensed. We're fine. Why? Just noticed you two seem distant. I've known David 15 years. I know what he looks like when he's happy. This isn't it. Marriage has ups and downs. Sure. He leaned against the bar. I just remember when he used to talk about you constantly. How excited he'd get planning dates. Haven't heard any of that in a while. People change. We're comfortable now. Comfortable. That's one word for it. He set down his glass. Look, I care about David. And I've seen this pattern before. My buddy Eric, his wife took him for granted, controlled intimacy like a reward system. He tried for 2 years. Then one day, he just stopped, checked out emotionally. She didn't notice until it was way too late. That's not, men don't stop trying because they stop loving you, Evelyn. He said it gently. They stop because they finally stop hating themselves for wanting someone who clearly doesn't want them back. And once that switch flips, it's really hard to flip it back. My hands trembled. David and I are fine. Okay, just pay attention before fine becomes over. He walked away. The car ride home was silent. That night, I initiated for the first time in months. Kissed him, let my hand wander. He kissed back for a moment, muscle memory, then gently stopped me. I'm pretty tired. Long day. I stared at him. Seriously? You're saying no? He looked confused. You say no all the time. That's different. How? I had no answer. He rolled over. Good night, Ev. I lay there in the dark, finally understanding. Jake was right. The switch had already flipped. Over the next week, I tried everything. Monday. Wore the lingerie he'd bought me for my birthday. Black lace, barely there. Tags finally removed. I'd spent 20 minutes getting ready, shaved everything, did my hair, even put on makeup. The set was expensive, the kind that left almost nothing to the imagination. Thin straps, sheer panels, high-cut bottoms that made my legs look longer. I walked past the couch where he was reading, slowly, made sure to adjust the straps, ran my hand down my side. The lace hugged every curve. I even dropped my phone near him, bent down to pick it up, giving him the full view. He glanced up. His eyes registered what I was wearing for maybe half a second. That's pretty, he said. Casual. Like I was showing him a new coffee mug. Then back to his book. Some philosophy thing about stoicism. I stood there in $200 worth of lingerie, feeling more invisible than if I'd been wearing a garbage bag. He turned the page without looking up again. Tuesday. Cooked his favorite meal, set the table with candles. He was genuinely pleased. This looks amazing. We ate, had good conversation, then he went to the garage. I sat watching the candles burn down. Wednesday. Suggested a movie. He agreed. I cuddled against him. His arm went around me, but it was automatic, friendly. When it ended, he went to bed. Alone. Thursday. I feel like we're not connecting lately. He looked up. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Just agreed. No defense, no concern. Do you want to do anything about it? He shrugged. I don't know, Ev. Do you? Friday night. David was in the shower. His phone buzzed. Text from Jake. I opened it. Jake. How are you holding up? David. Better, actually. Weirdly at peace. Jake. That's good, man. David. I think I finally stopped caring if she wants me or not. Like actually stopped. And yeah, it feels better this way. Jake. No more hoping? David. No more hoping. I'm done chasing someone who doesn't want to be caught. If she wanted things different, she'd have done something months ago. Jake. Proud of you. That couldn't have been easy. David. It wasn't. But being rejected by your own wife every week for a year, that was harder. I scrolled up, found more messages from weeks earlier. Jake. You seem better lately. What changed? David. I stopped hoping, stopped thinking, maybe tonight or maybe next week. Just accepted this is who we are now. Jake. That's sad, man. David. It's peaceful. Hope was killing me. Now I just focus on things that make me happy. Gym, woodworking, you guys, things that don't reject me. Jake. What about Evelyn? David. What about her? She has the marriage she wanted. I'm respecting her boundaries, just not torturing myself anymore while I do it. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped the phone. The bathroom door opened. David saw me holding his phone. Did you need something? You're done? Just like that? Evelyn, you're giving up on us. No. He took the phone calmly. I gave up on being made to feel pathetic for wanting my own wife. There's a difference. I started crying, then yelling, accused him of abandonment, of being a coward. He just listened, arms crossed. When I finished, is that what you think this is? Punishment? Yes. Evelyn, I tried for a year. You rejected me, dismissed me, made me feel like a pervert for being attracted to you. I begged. I planned dates you cancelled. I did everything you asked, and you still made me feel like I was asking too much. I have a right to say no, and I have a right to stop asking. The simplicity of it shut me down. He grabbed his pillow. Guest room door closed. I lay alone, realizing I'd miscalculated everything. Saturday morning. David made coffee like nothing happened. We need to talk, I said. Okay. He sat across from me. You're really done? It wasn't just like that. It was a year of trying and being rejected. I had the right to set boundaries. You did. Absolutely. His voice stayed calm. But you don't get to set boundaries and be angry when I stop crossing them. He pulled out his phone. My stomach dropped. I started keeping track. Not to weaponize it, just because I felt crazy. He scrolled through a note file, started reading. March 14th, maybe this weekend. April 2nd, I don't feel emotionally connected. April 18th, if you'd done the dishes, maybe. May 3rd, stop being so needy. May 27th, I'm not a sex dispenser. June 9th, maybe if you came home earlier. June 30th, I'm not in the mood to perform for you. He kept going. Months of rejections. I recognized every quote. 47 times in 8 months. You were keeping score. No, I was drowning and documenting why. Do you know what it's like to want your own wife and be made to feel disgusting for it? To plan dates and be cancelled on? To be affectionate and be pushed away like you're some creep? I was tired. So was I. But I still wanted you. Still tried. Still showed up. You wanted autonomy. You got it. But autonomy means you don't get to control my reactions to your choices. Rachel said, I don't care what Rachel said. First real edge in his voice. Rachel's divorced and miserable. She taught you to treat marriage like a power struggle. Every argument died. I knew he was right. So what now? Divorce? He sighed. I don't know. I don't want divorce, but I don't want how things were. We can fix this. Can we? You only want to fix it now that you've lost control. You weren't worried when I was hurting. He stood up. I'm staying at Jake's for a few days. David, I love you, Evelyn. Probably always will. But I don't know if I like who you've become. And I know I don't like who I was when I was begging for scraps. The door closed quietly. I sat alone. Called Rachel. Her validation felt hollow. He's gaslighting you. But that wasn't what this was. I opened Instagram, saw a quote, "You don't owe anyone access to your body." True. Below it, a comment. "And they don't owe you their heart after you've rejected it 47 times. I stared at David's empty coffee mug, the woodworking magazine, the life he'd built around my absence. I texted, "I'm sorry. I see it now. Can we talk?" 3 hours later, maybe. But not yet. Maybe. The uncertainty I'd created. Rachel texted, "He'll come back. They always do." But I wasn't sure. And for the first time, I wasn't sure I deserved it if he did.